Hybrid work is like being the captain of a ship with two distinct crews, right? One above the deck, basking in the sun, and another is below in a dimly lit cabin. Both groups are critical to the mission, but they require different approaches to feel included, valued, and motivated. When we're given the autonomy to choose when and where we work, we're better. Think of work like a symphony orchestra. Not every instrument plays at the same time, but together they create harmony. So hybrid work is about finding the rhythm that works for each individual while ensuring the collective output is cohesive. Hybrid teams often suffer from information asymmetry. To combat this, you have to embrace radical transparency. Hybrid-friendly policies reduce attrition up to 30%. And innovation. Inclusive teams are 35% more likely to outperform competitors. The hybrid world isn't the future of work. It's already here. The question is, are you ready to lead it? Hi guys, welcome to yet another episode of Future Fit with Friska. We're going to talk about something that most people have a love-hate relationship, and that is hybrid. How you can become a hybrid hero, how to lead high-performing teams in the modern work world. You know it's not going away because usually you're conducting a team meeting, half your team's in the office, half the team's at home, and it's never the same experience. Half of them appear as small little squares on a video conferencing screen. And the meeting starts, and as you speak, the energy in the room and on the screen does not match. People in the room engage actively, while those online seem muted, literally and figuratively. This is an all too familiar scenario, and that's the reality of hybrid work. It's not just about blending in office and remote work, it's about rewriting the rulebook on how we collaborate, connect, and lead. Hybrid work is like being the captain of a ship with two distinct crews, right? One above the deck, basking in the sun, and another is below in a dimly lit cabin. Both groups are critical to the mission, but they require different approaches to feel included, valued, and motivated. We're talking about the hybrid hero, how to be a leader that thrives in this new landscape. I'm going to share insights, research, strategies, and real-world examples of organizations that are nailing it and some that aren't. By the end of this episode, you'll have a toolkit to lead your hybrid workforce with confidence and clarity. Why do you think hybrid work is here to stay? You see, it's not just a post-pandemic experiment. It's a seismic shift in the way we work. Not a fleeting trend or a nice-to-have for progressive companies. It's happening in every single country. The pandemic simply opened the floodgates for employees and organizations to reconsider what work truly means and how it gets done. And now, like the genie out of the bottle, I don't think there's any going back. The truth is, hybrid work aligns with the evolving needs and desires of today's workforce. More than ever, people want flexibility, they want autonomy, they want purpose in their working lives. A recent McKinsey study revealed that 58% of employees want the option to work from home, at least for part of the week. So this demand for flexible work arrangements isn't just about convenience. It's about reshaping the outdated notion that work has to happen Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, within the four walls of an office. But let's go a little bit deeper. Why does this matter so much to us as individuals? First, flexibility is now a non-negotiable. It's not a luxury. Many of us came to realize during the pandemic that life does not fit neatly into a rigid 40-hour work week. Flexibility allows parents to pick up their kids from school. It enables caregivers to attend family emergencies and gives people time and the space to focus on their mental and physical health. It's not about squeezing more out of people. It's about helping them bring their best selves to work. Gartner says 59% of employees said flexibility improves their overall performance, while over half said it helps their mental health. So the message is clear. When we're given the autonomy to choose when and where we work, we're better, we're more engaged, we're more creative, and we're certainly more productive. The second point, autonomy drives motivation. Think of autonomy as the fuel that powers intrinsic motivation. When people are trusted to make decisions about their work, like when they work their best or how they structure their day, they take more ownership of their tasks. This is rooted in self-determination theory, which highlights autonomy as a critical factor in human motivation and satisfaction. Consider the case of GitHub. They operate on a work asynchronously model. So this means their people are empowered to set their own schedules, focusing on outputs rather than rigid timelines. This approach has not only improved productivity, but it reduced burnout rates and enhanced team satisfaction. The third is redefining working hours. What does that mean anyway? One of the biggest revelations of the hybrid era is that work doesn't just happen in the traditional 9 to 5 window. Productivity is deeply personal. While some thrive early in the morning, others hit their stride at night. Hybrid work allows organizations to tap into this diversity by letting employees work when they're at their best. Think of work like a symphony orchestra. Not every instrument plays at the same time, but together they create harmony. So hybrid work is about finding the rhythm that works for each individual while ensuring the collective output is cohesive. Fourth, the quest for meaning. The shift to hybrid work also reflects our growing desire for meaning in our work. People want to feel like their efforts matter, that they matter, that their work isn't just a transactional exchange for hours for pay, but contributes to something bigger. This ties directly to hybrid models because flexibility and autonomy gives people the space to align their work with their personal values and their passions. Hybrid work is now a talent magnet. It's not just about keeping your current employees happy, it's also key to attracting top talent. So FlexJobs said 80% of job seekers consider work-life balance and flexibility their top 2 priorities when they're considering job offers. Companies that embrace hybrid models position themselves as forward-thinking and people-centric, giving them a big edge in a competitive market. For example, Dell Technologies has long embraced hybrid work with its Connected Workplace program, allowing people to work remotely while still maintaining strong ties to the organization. This policy has led to higher employee satisfaction, reduced turnover, and the ability to attract diverse talent dotted around the globe. Okay, great, you may say. Why do I need to pay attention to this? You see, hybrid work is a reflection of the profound shifts happening in the way we live and work. So for leaders, such as yourself, this is a fabulous opportunity to rethink outdated assumptions about productivity and redesign your organizations for the future, creating future-fit organizations. By embracing flexibility, fostering autonomy, and redefining what work looks like, you can unlock new levels of innovation and engagement. So as we move forward, the question isn't whether hybrid work is here to stay. The question is, are you ready to lead a hybrid world? Are you prepared to be a hybrid hero? If the answer is no, you're not alone, because 54% of leaders feel that they're not equipped to do so. And that's why leadership in this space requires more than just adapting old habits. It's about building strong new ones. So before we dive into the solutions, let's look at the unique challenges that hybrid leaders face. The first, proximity bias. Leaders often unconsciously favor people that they see in person, potentially alienating remote team members. Communication gaps. Misunderstandings arrive when remote workers miss the nuances of office conversations. The third, team cohesion. Hybrid work can create like a 2-tiered workforce where remote employees feel disconnected and undervalued. And lastly, burnout risks. Remote employees often work longer hours and risk higher risks of burnout due to blurred boundaries. These aren't just small hurdles. They can erode trust, engagement, and productivity if you don't address them. Hybrid work may be the future, but that doesn't mean it's smooth sailing. With flexibility and autonomy come unique challenges that require thoughtful strategies to overcome. So now let's break down each of those 4 major hurdles that we talked about and listen to organizations who have implemented hybrid work models and pair them with examples to demonstrate how they manifest and how some companies are tackling them.
Are you leading change but constantly running into a brick wall of resistance? Maybe you've huffed and puffed, yet still not blown the house down. you are not alone. Resistance to change is one of the biggest roadblocks that leaders face, but it doesn't have to be. Imagine turning that resistance into momentum which drives you forward. That's exactly what my free 5-part mini course will help you do. It's called Shifting Resistance into Resilience, and in just 5 lessons, I'll walk you through proven strategies to break down those walls. You'll learn how to identify the root causes of resistance, engage your key stakeholders, yes, even the stubborn and loud ones, and build a culture that doesn't fatigue with change. It actually feasts on it. Sound good? All you need to do is click the link to get started, and the first lesson will be in your inbox. Don't let resistance render you powerless. Turn it into resilience that will push you forward.
The first challenge we heard was uneven access to opportunities due to proximity bias. So remote workers often miss out on impromptu networking, mentorship opportunities, and visibility that in-office workers enjoy. So over time, this does lead to favoritism and a two-tiered workforce, where those in the office feel more connected to leaders and have better career advancement opportunities. So HubSpot has embraced a flexible hybrid model, and they tackled this issue by establishing policies that prioritize equity. So one is they redesigned performance reviews to ensure remote workers' contributions were equally valued. They also use anonymous peer reviews to reduce biases that might favor those who are more visible in the office. Organizations need to actively monitor for inequities and bias in how opportunities, feedback, and recognition are distributed across hybrid teams. So first steps for leaders: track data on promotions, recognition, and project assignments to ensure fairness across remote and in-office workers. Implement training for managers to help them identify and address unconscious bias in hybrid environments. Use technology like AI-powered tools to anonymize feedback and remove location-based bias in reviews. The second was communication breakdowns. Hybrid work amplifies the complexities of communication. With team members operating across different time zones and work schedules, there's a higher risk of info falling through the cracks. And the potential is us and them dynamics between remote and in-office workers. So Dropbox, they pivoted to a virtual first model. They've rethought their communication strategy to avoid these pitfalls. So instead of relying on endless meetings, they encourage asynchronous communication, where employees document updates and decisions on platforms like Slack and shared documents. This reduces the pressure for everybody to be online at the same time and ensures information is accessible to everybody. In hybrid environments, communication needs to be intentional, transparent, and inclusive. Over-communication is better than under-communication every step of the way. The first steps for leaders: invest in collaboration tools like Slack, Teams, or Asana to create a digital hub for communication. Create clear guidelines on when and how to use asynchronous, which is live, versus asynchronous communication. So encourage everybody to document meeting notes and decisions and avoid those water cooler knowledge being limited to everybody that's in the office. The third is to maintain team cohesion and culture. This is a big challenge. So hybrid work models can fracture team dynamics. With employees scattered across physical offices and virtual spaces, building a unified culture becomes really hard. Miscommunication, reduced collaboration, and a sense of isolation are all risks when you aren't physically together. Buffer is a fully remote company that recognized early on that remote work erodes culture, and they implemented strategies to counteract this. One was called Buffer Retreats, where the entire company meets in person at least once a year to strengthen bonds. Though Buffer is fully remote, their strategy serves as an excellent lesson for hybrid leaders. Carve out those intentional moments to unify your workforce. Because without this, your teams risk becoming siloed. You need to actively create opportunities for shared experiences, whether it's in-person events, regular video check-ins, or company-wide initiatives. So the first steps here: conduct a cultural audit. Assess whether all employees, remote or in office, feel included in decision-making and team activities. Schedule regular huddles or all-hands meetings to foster connection. Create shared rituals such as virtual coffee chats to bridge the gap between remote and in-office workers. The subsequent challenge is burnout. How do you manage employee well-being? Hybrid work can blur the boundaries between your personal life and work life, leading to overwork. Remote employees feel pressure to be always on, to prove their productivity, while in-office employees may overcompensate to maintain visibility. Zappos, the shoe company started by the late Tony Hsieh, known for their culture of care, launched initiatives to address burnout, such as wellness stipends for mental health resources and flexible schedules allowing their people to recharge. They also trained managers to have open conversations about work-life balance, which helped destigmatize mental health. Burnout isn't just about working too hard, it's about feeling out of control. Hybrid work models need to empower people to set healthy boundaries. So for leaders, this looks like encouraging employees to establish clear work hours, on hours, and communicate them to their teams. You should be modeling work-life balance yourself by limiting after-hours emails or meetings, and provide wellness resources such as access to mental health apps or stipends for fitness programs. Here's some questions for you. Are we navigating these challenges? Here's some questions for leaders as you navigate these challenges. How can I ensure my hybrid team feels equally connected, regardless of their location? Are there blind spots in how we communicate or distribute opportunities across the team? What steps can I take today to create a culture of balance and well-being? Hybrid work is a balancing act, but with the right strategies, it is possible to turn these challenges into opportunities for connection, inclusion, and innovation. So if these are the challenges, how do we address them? As leaders, it's our responsibility to make this model work for everybody. So here's 5 strategies on how to become a hybrid hero. Number 1, make communication radical. Hybrid teams often suffer from information asymmetry, where some people have info and some people don't. To combat this, you have to embrace radical transparency. So ask yourself, are all members of my team actually informed and heard? When Airbnb shifted to a hybrid model, CEO Brian Chesky implemented regular AMA sessions. Ask me anything, open to everybody. These forums provided a space for everyone to ask direct questions and feel included in company decisions. So you need to start creating a single source of truth, whether it's a document, a Slack channel, or a project management tool. Commit to over-communicating. And if you've said it too many times, say it one more time. The second, equalize visibility and opportunity. Hybrid work can unintentionally reward in-office employees with more visibility, which translates to promotions. So ask yourself, am I ensuring remote employees have equal access to recognition and promotions? GitLab, an all-remote company, has the gold standard by creating a praise Slack channel where employees across the globe can celebrate wins and recognize each other. Very simple, but it boosted morale and ensured visibility for everybody, regardless of where they're located. So run a visibility audit of your team. Track who gets assigned key projects, who receives recognition, and who participates in decision-making meetings. The third, foster a unified culture, digitally and physically. Strong culture is the glue that holds everything together. So ask yourself, are my rituals and traditions unifying my team, regardless of where they are? At NextJump, a hybrid tech company, they introduced a 10-second appreciation practice. At the start of every meeting, whether in room or on Zoom, acknowledge a colleague for something they did. This small token of appreciation creates a culture of gratitude. So experiment what virtual rituals you can introduce, like coffee chats or shared playlists. The fourth, redesign the physical and digital workspace. It must cater to hybrid needs. It isn't just about the tech. It's about creating an environment where people feel they belong. So ask yourself, are my team's tools and spaces empowering collaboration, or is it hindering it? Dropbox rebranded its offices as studios, designed for collaborative work, while remote work was encouraged for focused tasks. This model gave employees the best of both worlds. So survey your team to understand their workplace challenges. Invest in tools like Miro for brainstorming, or upgrade meeting rooms with better AV equipment for seamless hybrid collaboration. And lastly, redefine leadership. The hybrid era demands leaders who are coaches, not commanders. You must listen deeply, adapt continuously, and empower your teams to thrive. So ask yourself, Am I fostering trust and autonomy? Or am I just micromanaging from a distance? Spotify CEO Daniel Ek embraced a flexible work from anywhere policy, focusing on outcomes rather than hours worked. So by trusting his people, he fostered innovation and reduced turnover. So maybe schedule one-on-one check-ins with your team, not to micromanage, but to understand their challenges and how you can support them. Why should you care about mastering hybrid leadership? Because it drives higher engagement. Employees who feel included are 2 to 3 times more likely to say they enjoy their work. It reduces turnover. Hybrid-friendly policies reduce attrition up to 30%. And innovation. Inclusive teams are 35% more likely to outperform competitors. Hybrid work isn't just a new way of working. It's a test of leadership. It demands empathy, adaptability, and courage to let go of old ways. The good news? You don't have to navigate this alone. If you're ready to become a hybrid hero and transform your team, start today with one small action, whether it's scheduling that one-on-one or rethinking how you recognize achievements. Every change, no matter how small, is a step towards creating a future-fit organization. Thank you for listening, and remember, the hybrid world isn't the future of work. It's already here. The question is, are you ready to lead it? Thanks again for joining me on yet another episode of Future Fit with Friska.